Makes you look like kind of a dickhead with your 10 to 15 tweet, hey?
Do you know what sarcasm is?
No, I can't tell tone
That's
on
one of my
tweets.
like living shticks on social media since the Morgan Riley thing went down and the Lyubushkin thing is like, dude, if I guarantee you, if Matt Rempe was a Toronto Maple Leaf, that's a fucking in-person hearing, helicopter ride for that player to NYC to talk to Gary Bettman. It's a fucking joke, man.
Hockey it's physical game. Maybe I have to protect myself little difference. I was ready for this hit, but maybe don't expect it what he's so tall. And like maybe I can change my position a little bit. But he's heavy guy. It's part of hockey.
Getting traded back to the Leafs here, what are you thinking? Your second time around, you're coming in to try to help this team, win some playoff games.
I think it's a good trade for me because it's so easy to join this team. I know this organization. I know these teammates. Then I want to say they like best guys, and it's amazing to be here in all around. Gonna try to do my best to help team, and yeah, we'll see.
Bush, what did you miss the most about Toronto?
Probably teammates.
For me, obviously, I understand the side of it. You leave your family behind, you move on. And this is part of the game. How are you dealing with that transition, right? I know you have kids, out in Anaheim right now. How is that mentally and, physically?
It's hard for family, but we try to stay together. Be on phone like every day in FaceTime.
Feels like you're paying homage to Austin Matthews. Happy for MVP. Is that named after Austin Matthews?
I don't think people understand like how hard it is to come back from an injury and then to come back better and like more efficient. And I use that as an inspiration through my really long, hard rehab. I called on that experience a lot when I was feeling down. And just reminding myself, like he made it through and he came back and he was better and I can do it too. And I think that that's what athletes are for, right? It's to inspire the communities, it's to inspire fans, people. I'm really grateful for the words of wisdom that he shared with me in our short conversations. And I really appreciate what he's done for my city. I mean, like growing up in Toronto, watching Vince Carter, like put our city on the map. I think that watching Austin do the same thing in real time is so cool.
It's 6-1 Maple Leafs, 3 minutes remaining. The Flyers take a penalty. And what does Sheldon Keefe do? Because the power play has been dog shit lately. PP1, get on there. And Rocky Thompson, the interim, I guess, right now with John Tortorella suspended, loses his shit. You're seeing it on your screen right now. Not happy, not pleased about it. The Leafs run that PP for like 30 seconds, and then they're like, Sheldon Keefe just does what Sheldon Keefe does, backtracks. Ryan Reese comes on the ice. Philadelphia scores shorthanded 30 seconds later. What'd you make of that?
I didn't have any problem with it strictly on the fact that their power play has struggled so much, and reps are everything, and figuring things out and just getting over the hump is everything. And for a power play, you can't practice it against your own guys. You're not ripping one-timers off guys' ankles in practice. You go out early, the power play does all the time to work it around. It's a fresh sheet of empty ice. It doesn't do it justice. You get chances to get the power play opportunities, especially when they're feeling it, especially when you're shelling a team. That's the time where you could really figure some shit out and find a new lane and find out how to work that thing around and get yourself going. I could give a shit about the Philadelphia Flyers feelings.
That was the first regulation victory versus an Eastern Conference opponent since December 23rd, man. Like, it's a long ass time.
I wish it was the other way around. We sure seem to smack the West around this year. They go out on the road and just kind of clean up. And it's not a great look, man, to be in the Eastern Conference and to not have it's not like their record's horrendous, but just like you're not obviously cleaning up. You're not finishing games. You're getting, some points and chipping away here and there in overtime and shootouts and stuff. But you're obviously not as dominant against the Eastern Conference team is not ideal when you're playing the first rounds against the Eastern Conference.
Good on McMann. I wonder how much money he earned in the last 2 months in terms of scoring goals and doing all that. And you just need guys like this on your roster. So I actually think the value's there for this one.
Yeah, and I like this play by Tree Living too. Like, what I find sometimes in guys that have never had one-way contracts or like a big deal like this is you hold him to the flame right now, because now he gets this offer and he goes home and he thinks, okay, if I don't take this deal, maybe he keeps playing and he gets that pace. He's going to be worth a lot more in free agency, right? But for him is the pressure of like, I've never been paid before, or I'm an injury away from this changes everything. I need to get my money. So I like this play from both sides.
Your time playing with Kuhlman and MacArthur, one of the best lines in Leafs history, in my opinion, man.
Yeah, it's a great time. It's right away from training camp. I remember I have like great connection with Clark, especially like his vision of hockey. Like it's really similar as my vision. Like you go and he gonna pass to you puck there. That's I think this chemistry between me and Clark. It's a huge like it's and when they separate us away from each other, that's how my game go down. And he's have moved to Ottawa. It's Cooley is always the guy who is be in the back and protect the defensively more, right? Plus, he can score. So when you play against like a three players who can score, it's hard to defense. And I think that moment we find each other and we start deliver the result.
What would you take from Randy Carlyle? We just talked about this, but after you infamously bought out July of 2018, you called him an idiot.
If you don't like someone, you go straight to the face and say like, I just don't like work with you, but I already try like trade him or whatever. But when you behind your back, this is not like that's what my style. But I don't think he's the biggest problem. What I have, I think I learned a lot from him. This is just how life works,
Have the wild card be the 2 out of 3 series for the teams that finish 16 through 20 in the NHL, and then go 1 versus 8. I love the variety of it, and I love the fact that supposedly you protect the better team from 82 games by giving them the easier opponent in the first round. This, inevitability of Toronto having to face Boston and Tampa. And I know some will say cry us a river, but you just get a little bit tired of it. I'd like to see 1 versus 8. I loved way back when one played 16 and it was Edmonton against Philadelphia. And it was electric.
Yeah, I'm on board the same thing. I just think that it takes away from the reward from an 82 game season. You could finish third in the NHL and you're playing the second best team in the first round. It's kind of like, it's set up already. I understand when they introduced this, I thought, well, this sets up for some good individual rivalries that'll span the years and the test of time. But the more I look at it and see how things shake out, it just doesn't quite seem like they're rewarding the players for the long grind of an 82 game season. Saw that you had a bit of a reunion there with Grapes. He turned 90, which is hard to believe. How much do you stay in touch with him, and how's he doing?
I loved that photo of me and Don. When we were doing Hockey Night on the weekend, Kyle Bukoska showed me and Dick Irvin and Bob and Harry, Bob Cole and Harry Neal. And I just looked at those photos and I thought, I got this great pic of Don and me, and I want to put it out. I want it to be me that puts, because if I die this afternoon, it's locked in my phone and gone, right? Mm-hmm. And it is a great, we had a great get together just the day before his 90th, and we're good. And there's always going to be, as I say, a racket and lots around it. But it was great to see Don. We had a great hour and a half together, and the photo I love is magic. And it was neat to see him. And he's great. I said, you want to come back on? I don't know.